How you guys doing today? Welcome back. Looks like we never had the big correction, but we could still have that. We're slowly melting up. So what I want to point out here is this melt up is just a pretty much a very sharp grind higher, right? If we zoom out, you had this big correction back obviously in 2023, and now we're just grinding up. So we've continued to hold this trend. And if this continues, you're going to see individual stocks continue to break out. And I think the hottest names right now, the hottest themes are going to be obviously chips, semiconductors, right? From AI, pure AI plays, blockchain. We have Bitcoin, I think, breaking out currently to new 52-week highs, heading for that all time high. Ethereum made a big move. It's up about 50%. And we have a lot of cryptos starting to move now. Also, the digital wallets are starting to move. Ark Invest is moving a little bit of Tesla because Coinbase is moving. Robinhood is moving, right? So there's a couple names we can go over. If you have any tickers, let me know. And let me know if you have any tickers. But let's go ahead and start with the S&P, and we'll do a little bit of macro. There's a lot of good things in macro that are setting us up. As a matter of fact, let's just take a look at it. First, and we'll go back through this if anybody needs help. These are interest rates in purple up here, right? Interest rates are set to fall. This is a positive when it comes to liquidity and credit conditions improving. We're seeing the LEIs, which are the leading conference board indicators, starting to improve, right? We'll write this in the newsletter, but I'm not going to show you every single chart for macro. You know, we're bullish on macro. Interest rates are set to fall. This is inflation. Inflation kind of looks like it might be sticky a little bit, but we'll see in February. We'll see in this next print if it continues to slow. Then here we have credit, global liquidity, right? Global credit continuing to pick up in different markets. It's either sideways or it's up. That's positive. Down here, we have GDP. That's also been improving. We get the GDP numbers this week, and we have the manufacturing cycle picking up. So there's just a lot of positives when it comes to macro. I don't see any changes. I don't see anything changing at the moment. So, anyways, going back to the S&P, we're in this nice trend. Maybe we need to thicken up these lines, so it's a little more. So it's a little easier to see. Yeah, let me get that on there so it's a little easier to see. But we are holding this uptrend. We're holding this uptrend that started back in January at the beginning of the year. This was the opening of the year. We kind of sold off, and we've just been melting up because, again, the macro is doing very well, right? The macro is doing very well. And I think the biggest part too here is that margin expansion is taking over, labor productivity is picking up. You're getting real growth for the first time. We haven't seen that in since the 90s. We haven't seen real productivity growth pick up. So what I have marked here is the anchored VWAP. So this is, you take the volume from this pullback and you add the average, right? Kind of like your moving average from this actual point. So we're holding these. We'll see if we can hold this level currently on SPY. I mean, we don't know if it'll hold. We'll see. But either way, you just got to take in consideration that we are in an uptrend. This is a very bullish market. It's been, continuously overcoming all of the headwinds, overcoming headwinds. Let's go in a little deeper here. Now, I'm going to switch to these charts and kind of move it around because currently we are looking at S&P to see where's that pivot at, right? What are we looking at currently? Right now we were holding this level. This was what is this? 507. We were holding the 507 level. We had a couple touches here. Pretty much 1, 2 pre-market. We had that touch. We dropped below it just about 30 minutes ago. It looks like we're getting rejected by this level, which would take us down here to about 506. Healthy pullback, healthy little correction. The more we get these corrections, the healthier the trend can continue to go up. So I think we're looking at a very constructive market here to continue forward. This pivot is pretty much done with. We'll see if this turns into the pivot today, but we are falling beneath that level. Now going over to the individual stocks, kind of the stuff I wanted to pick out. Let's go to that 30-minute real quick. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. Yeah, our next support would be coming back to the top of that uptrend, right? So if this is our uptrend, we're looking at the top here. We are looking at this area right here, which gives us 502, 503, 502-ish. Yeah, we're looking at that level. If we do come back down, GDP this week, we also have PCE. I think I marked it on here. We talked about this last week. Let's go to the futures. Or no, actually it's on SPX. I put it on SPX. So this is what we're looking forward to next week or this week, which is consumer incomes. I believe it's on Thursday. Thursday, consumer income, consumer spending, and then personal consumption. This is the Fed's inflation gauge. We've typically had a grind higher once we get that inflation gauge. So we'll see how things if we actually grind lower into that reading, and the reading is better than expected or as expected, I think we just continue higher, right? So that's what we're looking at right now. Now, flipping over to what should we look at? The dollar. I think we're still constructive here because we have the dollar not making new highs, right? The dollar is still staying consistently sideways. It actually broke the uptrend, right? So that kind of tells us that the dollar is weakening, and we do know a sideways dollar or a weakening dollar is going to help push up asset prices. So it looks like the dollar is rolling over a little bit. That's good. Constructive for markets, right? Also, we had a treasury auction today. US Treasury auction, US debt. I think it was the biggest auction that we've ever had in history, and it got bought up pretty quickly. So collateral is, there's a lot of collateral that is backing up the markets. Credit spreads look tight. Everything is straight, meaning the debt for the corporates the debt is strong. People are buying up the debt. Rates, on the other hand, still at this resistance level. If we can get a rollover, then we can get a little more push to the upside with markets. If we can get that rollover, we haven't broken out yet over this resistance level, so we're still looking good here. Any questions before we move on to individuals? Doesn't look like we have any. No big market news today. I just wanted to go over a couple technicals. Crypto, I believe, is actually, let's move over to crypto. I think Bitcoin just made a new high. Yep, there we go. Bitcoin got above this trend. Bitcoin is now above this trend. We'll go over AMD also. I think AMD is setting up pretty nicely. AMD, Nvidia. Let's see what else I had on here. AMD, Coin, Tesla. Small caps look pretty good. Nvidia, obviously, ARK is pushing things up. Robinhood, Aave, Mara, Chainlink obviously is pulling back also. Palantir looks good. So these are the long-term plays. But either way, Bitcoin is catching some, pretty good momentum here. Looks like we're starting to get very bullish on the RSI. Typically, you come down, you push back up. This is a lot of momentum to the upside. If we take a step back and go to that weekly chart, it kind of looks like we're just going straight up, right? We're going straight up on the RSI. Last time we hit these levels, we had the highest levels come in about 4 weeks. So let's say we pretty much peak out in March, end of March, maybe April. We don't know exactly, but we're seeing the RSI starting to pick up the relative strength index. So this is just buying strength, continuing to be overbought. But with crypto, overbought can stay for a while. We know that. We do know that. And it looks a lot similar to the way it did before we broke out all-time highs. We're getting all-time highs quicker than I expected. I think at this year we'll see all-time highs, but you can see the last bull run, we basically trended higher. We had this trend higher in Bitcoin. It finally got above that trend. Okay, this is before the halving. We got above that trend and we started to hold the trend and we got to all-time highs. He had a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of resistance, and then we just bursted through it. And that's when we really got parabolic. And I think we're nearing that phase. I mean, it might not happen until second half of the year, but we are getting there pretty quickly. So same thing. We're having this uptrend. This is a lot longer uptrend that we've had. Very good consolidation. We're now getting above this uptrend, right? So now we're moving into a more parabolic phase if we can hold it. And it looks like Bitcoin wants to push up. Now, my expectation is we do push up near all-time highs, maybe 60, 64, 65K. Who knows? I think we could pull, a lot of people are positive about the market. So we could push up to those all-time highs, then have a correction back in this zone, right? So very possible we just come back to this zone after we make a big push higher. And that would be a better entry on a pullback because we're not going to break right through the all-time high and just take off. We're going to have a correction. usually 20, 25, 30% correction. So you have that big upside move. You know the momentum's there. On a pullback, there's going to be a lot of greed to get in there. So Bitcoin's looking very constructive. Ethereum, ETHUSD, Ethereum also made its move. We talked about this last week. We talked about Ethereum making a big move. Make sure I don't miss any comments there. We talked about Ethereum making a big move, and it finally made that move to the golden pocket. We are now at that golden pocket. So if we look at the Fibonacci, let me throw this on the weekly. It's a lot easier to see the trend. Okay, so if we look at the weekly chart, let's throw that Fibonacci on there. Oh no, that's anchored VWAP. What am I thinking? So yeah, Fibonacci retracement. We're basically at that 50%. So we might have a little more room. 3,200 is what we were talking about. We're pretty much there. 3,200. That previous resistance was what, 30, 35? Okay, so maybe we work up to 35. We could sit here, consolidate, or move higher. If we do pull back, 20% range would put us back at what, 27? Not about 25. If we do have a pullback, maybe about 25. So pretty good entry point. You can see we had some support there last time on that last at that last level. So this support, I'm sorry, this support had turned into resistance a couple weeks ago, right? About a month ago, and we got past that. So I'm thinking this is our next level if we do pull back, right? I appreciate it. All right, so that's what we're looking at for Ethereum, Bitcoin. Now we are on cryptos because Bitcoin is breaking out at the moment. So yeah, Bitcoin is a monster right now. You know, it is we're in an early cycle of crypto. We haven't even got to the halving yet. So this could be a monster cycle. Obviously, a lot of the supply is disappearing. Now, what I want to look at here is a Chainlink. Well, let's look at Coinbase breaking out, right? So we'll go to stocks really quick. Obviously, Bitcoin is going to carry a lot of these crypto stocks or digital wallets. Robinhood's doing very well. Coinbase is doing very well. And this is Coinbase with a nice little support here, and you're basically looking at this last level to break. I think the entry kind of is already, we're kind of already past the entry. If you do have a pullback, it's always better to get that pullback. So where's your next support? Well, if we were to come back, like if you wanted to get tight here, then your stop is under 162, right? You want to, if you hold under 162, not just a touch, but if you start holding under 162, maybe you close 30-minute candles or daily candle, then your stop is out and you're looking for the previous low. But for now, this thing can really push, and there isn't a whole lot of resistance once you get past 200. You're looking at a pretty strong recovery there, right? Robinhood exploded. It kind of looks the same. These, they're getting a lot of their revenue from crypto trading. So the crypto cycle is back, right? We're looking at semiconductors, AI chips. Even though a lot of the AI is in mega cap tech, who doesn't move as fast but is very safe, the more pure AI plays like Palantir are a lot more volatile, and crypto is volatile in general, regardless. So we're seeing. I think I like this chart a little better because if Robinhood does happen to pull back, it has its upside moves and it does pull back. If we do get this pullback in Robinhood, let's take a look at. Let's take a look. If we do get a pullback in Robinhood, you get some downside in the S&P or the Qs. It's individual stock picking. Then you're looking at this level, right? What are we looking at? Like 1350-ish, about 1350-ish. This is where we got that last little candle on the weekly. Capitulation candle, a lot of buying pressure there. What does that RSI look like? Starting to get really elevated on the RSI. So momentum is really starting to pick up here for Coinbase. And I think we look the same for pretty much Coin, right? A lot of momentum on Coin. Let's take this off. Robinhood, those are your digital wallets / cryptos. Obviously, Bitcoin's breaking out, Ethereum's breaking out, but look at Chainlink. Okay, I like Chainlink here. You guys already know. We'll go over Chainlink. I still think it has the best narrative in the market for crypto. It's now starting to sit above those previous highs. Look how clean this is. This is the cleanest chart, right? Maybe Solana does look really good. Don't get me wrong, but this is a clean chart. We had that nice breakout. This has been leading the crypto market. You got the nice breakout, and we're holding. And I did draw a trend here. Let me thicken this trend so you can kind of see how constructive the oops, you can see how constructive the actual pattern is, right? This is the breakout, initial breakout. This was last October, 2023 October. And then we just connect it. Now we have a trend. So we're still holding this upside trend. A lot of consolidation up here, big range, right? Not really consolidation, more of a range. That range was what, $3 range. Now we got above that range, sat above it, made a move higher, came right back into the range. So Chainlink is literally holding the previous range. Very clean price action. I still think Chainlink has the cleanest price action at the moment. Not only that, the fundamentals are the cleanest. What are the fundamentals when it comes to Chainlink? It has the most, partnerships in the crypto market. We have the most partnerships with Swift. You got the partnerships with Swift, ANZ, an Australian bank, BNP Paribas, big one, BNY Mellon. The biggest institutions are partnering with Chainlink, not these other cryptos, right? So Chainlink, I'm going to say it over and over until we break out, because I think once we get above 20, I think we see, in my opinion, not financial advice, I think we see a sharp move to about 28, especially with all this consolidation, right? Clearstream, also one institution a lot of you guys probably are not familiar with, DTCC, the US Depository Trust Clearing Corporation. They clear all the transactions for treasuries, equities, whatever it is, whatever trade it is. They're the ones clearing it for the Federal Reserve. This is a Federal Reserve entity. This is a central bank entity that is working with Chainlink. I think the two biggest partnerships are Swift and DTCC, right? And you also have Citibank. They go check out their channel. The Citibank was talking about how they're tokenizing their assets. They're not going to sit there and try to shill Chainlink and say, hey, go, Chainlink. They don't say the name. You got to go read the papers to see that they're actually integrated with Chainlink. And they call Bitcoin digital gold, Ethereum the global computer, and Chainlink is the internet of blockchain, right? Connecting the internet, the Web3, actually connecting Ethereum as the Web3 platform to the non blockchains. That's what Chainlink is doing. It's actually connecting that. So, anyways, just wanted to go over that really quick. Very clean chart there. We are supporting anchored VWAP from the previous low. Also, this would be anchored VWAP from the breakout, but we didn't come back there. We can always revisit if we get some volatility, but we are holding anchored VWAP from that previous low, from that previous pullback. I don't see any questions. I'm gonna move on. We do have a couple comments. What's up, Akadosaurus? What's your take on Nvidia? What do you think happens March, April? Good question. All right, we'll check out Nvidia. That's the next thing, is the chips. So yeah, Nvidia. I mean, Nvidia is just a very clean. I don't want to call it a clean chart, but it probably had the best earnings report in history. Okay, as much as it was overvalued from a price, and it got very stretched from a price point, right? Very overstretched. The RSI got very elevated. We did have that pullback, and I said, hey, this is either the correction for the entire market, or we just keep grinding higher. It turned out we're grinding higher. The dollar did not surge. Rates did not surge. They actually stayed where they're at. They eased a bit, so that helped push the market higher. And Nvidia's earnings report basically lowered the price to earnings, or a valuation tool. Fundamentally, it got cheaper. So the price exploded, but the earnings were so good, the actual valuation got cheaper. So this thing can continue to run. There's a lot of price targets at 900. I think 900 is about the next target, and then it probably has a correction, and then a lot of price targets are at 1200. So I think Nvidia can keep running. I'm not so interested in it because it's hard to gauge these things. It looks a lot like Tesla did back in 2019. It's hard to catch it depending on who you are, what you do. But I'd say the next best thing right now is AMD. AMD is also a chip maker. Okay, Nvidia is number one, but the risk reward for AMD, in my view, is a lot better. I mean, you have a clear resistance level, looks like Chainlink, a clear support at that previous breakout. So this was the previous all-time high on AMD. You can see it, previous all-time high. Okay, we broke above that previous all-time high. We've been holding it. What is this, weekly? No, these are daily candles. So 1, 2, 3, 4 holds. So you've had 4 holds, 4 daily holds, a little gap up there. at this level, the more you consolidate at this level, the market continues to be constructive, the more, the bigger the probability we break out again. So I like AMD actually better for a trade, for a hold, definitely. But you're still consolidating here, right? If you get above this, below this level, well, I mean, maybe you have a stop around here, but it does look like this is the breakout level. I don't like breakouts. I like break and retest. If it were for me, I would definitely check out a break in. Actually, let's look at where's the anchored VWAP from? Let's go anchored VWAP from this low, see what it's looking like. Okay, so if we go from that previous low, you want to see a hold maybe halfway. That'll tell you the momentum is picking up for AMD, but I like AMD a little better than NVIDIA. I know you asked about NVIDIA, but NVIDIA is a little trickier. I think NVIDIA is a lot harder. And it depends. Are you just a long term, super long term, swing trade, daily trade, whatever you're looking at? So NVIDIA, let's do anchor VWAP from the earnings. I mean, you can see clearly it had support and they got bought up quick at the anchored VWAP. This is why I like the anchored VWAP. It's volume weighted average. So it takes the average from all the volume. So I don't need to look at actual volume. I don't need to go look at and turn on my volume here because I see that anchored VWAP is where the volume support is. So maybe on a pullback support, around 785, that's probably a good level if you can enter it pretty well, pretty clean. Again, I don't advocate that because if you don't have the skills, you're probably going to get torn up. But either way, this is your support, right? Do what you want with it. Do your own research. But I would say, yeah, your support's around 785. That'd be the cleanest way to get into NVIDIA or a break of trend, but it doesn't offer much, it doesn't offer much entries. It's very bubbly to some degree, right? It's not like SMCI. SMCI got smashed. I think a lot of people might even short SMCI at this point, but you never know. You never know. The what is it? The excitement in the market for this is just extreme still. So I personally think if it cannot hold above this level, I think this one's a little overdone. It doesn't have the same valuation. This could be a nasty short, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but this could be a nasty short. Look at this range. This is a pretty big range there. You got what is this? A $200 range back and forth, $200, $300 range. But yeah, that one's a lot tougher. I think AMD again is the easiest to really look at. Oops, AMD is probably the easiest to look at this moment. Very clean price action. Pretty wild. Will stay. What do you? So April, March. You said April, March. What happens April, March? Look, at some point there will be a correction. You're gonna have a correction. How big is it? I don't know. All you can do is draw the support. So let's go to the Qs really quick. Let's check out the Qs. Just for tech, right? Let's look at the Qs for tech. S&P looks really constructive, but the Qs are a little sloppier typically. Let's use anchored VWAP. It came into that last anchored VWAP, moved up on NVIDIA earnings. It was this 30-minute chart. So let's use this anchored VWAP. If the Qs, and it did also come out of a nice like downtrend. That was really nice too, right? You had this nice little downtrend that we broke out of, right? Boom, broke out of the downtrend off a gap up too. So there's still a lot of momentum, I think. And it's holding, the Qs are holding up a little better than the S&P. And if you go out to March, April, what are we looking at? Where's March, April, end of March, April? You could see a move up to 450. Let's just say we're a little more bullish. And to answer that question, maybe we get a move up in March, April. At some point, consolidate a little more. We get GDP, we have PCE, market gets excited, still room, right? You head into March, April, and then you have the correction, possibly back into this anchored VWAP somewhere around there, or we just stay consolidated back to this level. So at some point, you're going to get a correction, right? We've been getting the corrections. They're not huge. They've been like 2%. So very strong bull market. I mean, oil prices are not, elevated. Rates are not rising. As a matter of fact, they're still easing at the moment. So very constructive, strong bull market. Overall market is whatever, but I think individual stocks, that's where it's at right now. If you go to, I'm going to flip over to Mara really quick. Look at Mara. Mara, I don't like this. I don't mess with these things, but I know a lot of people do like to look at these crypto miners. I'm not a fan, but I mean, this has a clear resist. I mean, once you get above this level, that's lights out. That's lights out. Now, it would be nice to get back in here for a good little support. I don't even know if is this visible enough? Are we do we have am I showing this clearly? Make sure. If you had any comments, also go ahead and jump on to if you're on TikTok, you could jump on the YouTube to throw your comment in because they always get lost. And I'll answer your comment for sure. But it gets lost in the feed for TikTok. So yeah, Mara looks pretty good, very constructive. Tigger Media, will Link stay correlated to BTC or shift to an elevation based on its use case and earnings? Mixture of both. I'd say a mixture of. I mean, so far Chainlink's been leading the crypto market. I'm waiting for a move here. I mean, I've been watching it. It did pull like this is the good thing. Okay. I thought we were gonna break out here. Once you get above the RSI, so check this out. I've been tracking it. It takes about 20 to 25 days before it peaks out, right? Going all the way back to 2019, about 25 days once the RSI gets above 70, 80 or 70, about 70, gets, 25 days. But we never got above, we didn't hold that level. So we actually made a higher, higher lows here. We're consolidating and we never got the RSI. We actually reset the RSI, which is healthy. So the RSI reset and we're holding higher. So to me, this spells a bigger move, in my view. So once we do get above, that level, then once we do get above that level, which would be what 20, I think we move up pretty quickly. Now you're asking, hey, does it front run BTC? I don't know. If Bitcoin does pull back, then I think Chainlink pulls back and finds some type of support. But if Bitcoin consolidates at these levels, if it just moves sideways, right? Let's say it moves up and just moves sideways, then I think you get another rotation back into Chainlink. Same for Ethereum, right? Same for Ethereum. So a lot of institutional demand. I think it looks good. You never really know, but you are getting some movement. And that brings us to Aave. You are getting a lot of movement. Aave looks really good too. It broke out of this giant trend, big, bear market trend, broke out, retested this level. I think we talked about this last week. And I put the anchor VWAP here on the low. It's starting to hold that anchored VWAP. So you want to get a nice pull in, maybe 20, 93, 94. Don't chase. Always, never chase, always wait. Right. So yeah, Aave looks pretty good too. I mean, I know there's a lot out there, but I don't focus on there's too many out there. And then yes, all good. Okay. Shout out to you guys though. Thanks for jumping on. I see you out there on X. Hopefully we can get some more traffic, doing some technicals, doing something a little different. Not looking at so much the macro today because there's no, clear macroeconomic data. But there's a lot going on. Now let's move to Tesla. I think a lot of people are underestimating Tesla, right? They believe that I keep hearing in the news what they say the EVs are falling. There's no EV demand. There isn't a lot of EV demand if it's not for Tesla. All the demand is for Teslas. And that's where it's coming from. So we do have this reverse head and shoulders. So let's go ahead and track this out because I think this is going to be a very nice opportunity because nobody sees it. A lot of people are not watching it. We got the reverse head and shoulders. It did play out. Okay. We had a nice burst. Let's zoom in here a little bit. Okay. Got the reverse head and shoulders. We broke out of that reverse head and shoulders, found some support. Let's see. We could put it about right here. Right. So we did break out and then we came back for the retest. Okay. Healthy. I know a lot of people got shooken out here. They thought it was going to go much higher. It's not the strongest yet, but once you break out, it's going to move probably somewhere between 225 and 240. I think it can move to 225, 240 pretty quickly before it has another 10% correction. So yeah, we supported this level all week. Also, you can see it's trying to get this above this anchored VWAP from 240, from the 240 level. It got above every other anchored VWAP level. The lows, it's holding the low, so it's holding volume from the lows. I saw there was a nice buyer this morning, so let's go in a little deeper. Right, you can see these buyers just stepping in at the zone every single time, and they're not trying to push the breakout. They're just buying the bottom. They're squeezing the shorts. And today, this guy just kept buying, whoever it was. And I think if we can hold VWAP into the close, I think we get a gap up, right? I think I get it. And this is the only reason I say that is because I spend so much time looking at Tesla more than anything else. So have a little better instincts on it. And we had that nice push. Watch, we'll go through the price action here. Let's do a little practice. If you're new, maybe you want to see the price action here. Which stock we looking at? What up, Dimaj? Oh, do I need to put up the ticker so you can see what up, Kiki? Maybe I need to put the tickers on. I took them off. Yeah, Tesla looks good. So early morning, right? First of all, we've been holding this level. We've been holding this level for a while. Once I saw this pre-market low bounce, I was like, okay, that's, the shorts are going to be covering all through pre-market. They're covering market strong, big move to the upside. So this is called a sharp move away from price. Very sharp move away from price. Now we're on the 1-minute candles for the first 30 minutes of the market. It wasn't pretty. Don't get me wrong. This was not the best price action, but you had a small pullback. They bought it up, didn't even touch VWAP, grinded higher, and then it broke the uptrend. And I traded it a little bit, but I'm mostly trying to get position for a bigger swing trade. And then it started to consolidate, right? You get long again, stop right below. You get your stop right below this consolidation. And Tesla's tricky. It'll stop you out and come right back up. So you got to be patient. You got to be a little more patient. And it probably stopped out a couple people, moved up again. Now you start to scale back to the 5-minute chart. Could not make that, couldn't break out here, couldn't break out here. Oh, double top. But is it really a double top, or is it forming a big wedge pattern, right? A lot of strength there. A lot of strength. So if we go to the 5-minute chart, it's holding VWAP. Very constructive for the market. And the market's in a good spot because it's making new lows. So relative to the overall market, Tesla's actually stronger here. It is actually stronger relative to the overall markets, and it's holding that previous it's holding the previous resistance. So I like this. I think we get a gap up if we hold VWAP into the close. Here's your previous resistance that I was speaking of. Okay, previous resistance. Remember, this was support. Last week? This was support. We dropped that support, turned into resistance. Now we're right back above it, literally pushing right off that support. Nice reversal candle on the pullback, starting a stair step higher. So very constructive price action. I like it. And typically when you go into the close and you have the S&P, going back to the S&P, if the S&P can recover, it doesn't look good at the moment. S&P does not look good at the moment. Because it's now getting rejected by the previous support, might leak a little lower. Qs, I think, are a little more constructive. QQQ. Yeah, Qs are grinding up a little bit, so a little different there. But also, I think what's helping out Tesla is, and I know I'm jumping around, is ARK, right? ARK is holding a lot of Bitcoin, they're holding Ethereum, so that's going to help ARK move up. ARK is also holding Zoom. Zoom is moving up. They're holding Coinbase. Coinbase is moving up. They're holding Robinhood. Robinhood's moving up. So essentially, they're kind of stair stepping each other, right? You have one thing move and it's pulling everything. So if crypto moves up, in a sense, Tesla catches a bid. Then you get those breakout traders come in, and the longs, I think, have already been buying the lows. So you might get a squeeze there. But yeah, ARK Invest is probably the biggest holder of Tesla. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Vanguard has a little more Tesla, but either way, looks very constructive. I thought TSMC would have had let me slow down. Talking too quick. Somebody told me I need to slow down. I'll slow down a little bit. TSMC would have moved more by now from Nvidia earnings. Let's see TSMC. Actually, I have it up here. I guess I don't. Let's look at TSM as a chip. Daily chart. Oh yeah, you know what? TSM looks really good. I mean, clear resistance, right? Over 131. Very clear. So if you zoom in, what I would want to see is a break and retest. Break and retest exactly on this zone. Let's call it 130. 131 to 131.50. So about 50 cents. Somewhere in there, you want to see break and retest on that 50-cent level. Here we go intraday. Um, I mean, it's trending up. I don't watch it too much, so I'm not, too sure if it needs to finish high of day. It is holding VWAP. Looks good. TSMC. Kiki said dangerous location for TSMC or TSM. Yeah, it's either gonna break down or break out. My guess is it finishes somewhere around here, and then you're gonna get tomorrow's gonna tell us whether we gap up and then retest in the zone, or whether we just move in the zone. We pull back and then move up in the zone. So I don't think today it gets above this level. We'll see maybe tomorrow for TSM. But either way, the setup is good. I mean, you can see very strong buyers, big gap up in Nvidia earnings. I think is TSM already done with earnings? Maybe. Oops. The heck did I just do? Um. Oh no, they don't have earnings for a while. No earnings yet. This is not the chart I want to see. So, yeah, it looks straight. I mean, it looks good. Palantir's up there. AI play, nice little AI play. All right, what else we got? Geographically, you say it looks. Oh, I see what you're saying. Dangerous. Oh, okay. Geopolitically dangerous. Okay. That might be a little overblown. I mean, you could be right. There's a lot of things that could happen, but um, those are geopolitical risks, and all you do is you just don't go all in, right? There's obviously there's definitely a geopolitical risk there for TSM. What are we looking at here? Tesla. Oh, okay, yeah, Tesla holding the anchored VWAP. We'll see if it can break out of this trend today. I just think we're close for Tesla breaking out. It could consolidate the rest of this day. Small catalyst will get it going, but we are holding that level at the moment. And yeah, right now I think the highlight is crypto. So we'll see where Bitcoin's at. Let's do a little dive into Bitcoin. I mean, where is the resistance here? Not much. Not much. I mean, a little bit around 57, 58, maybe about 59. Yeah, probably like 59. Small little resistance there. 59. Starting really to move though. Going into the halvening. So it looks good. It is looking good. We are at 54K. Yeah, this is a strong. And I think it's just being overlooked because everybody's so focused on Nvidia. So crypto's being overlooked. And don't get me wrong, the AI narrative is strong, but come on, Nvidia is up a lot. There's not a whole lot of juice. I think you need a major pullback to get comfortable with Nvidia. Um, where Bitcoin supply is much smaller at the moment. But who knows? A lot of these have been doing pretty good. TSMC is building the largest chip manufacturing center in U.S. and Arizona. Yep, I'm here. I see it. I see it when I drive by here in Phoenix. I think they spent about $40 billion on the manufacturing facility here in Arizona. So yeah, it does look good. I find cryptos hard to analyze. I don't know why. Yeah, they're tough. They're tough because they're very parabolic. So you can't really use for crypto. I don't really use simple moving averages. I don't think they really work. You have to use exponential moving averages because they're just extremely, the supply is small. The crypto market is very small. There's not a whole lot of institutions holding crypto, so they're really blow off tops. That's why I think it's it's a better way to not chase the breakouts. I mean, you can. It depends on what it is. If it's super risky, you might want to chase the breakout and just have a hard stop. But if it's something you believe in that you think is going to go high, much higher, has a real narrative, then from my standpoint, I'd rather catch something on the downside. I'd rather catch it on the downside going back into support. That's just my way of doing things. Um, but yeah, I think Links looks really good. It looks like it's starting to. Well, I guess this is what 15-minute chart. Let's go to 5-minute. See what things are looking like for Bitcoin. 5-minute chart. This is the trend right now. So usually maybe we consolidate, morning move up again. I mean, who knows? You can always break down. It's just when it moves, it moves. That's all I can really say. When it moves, it moves. Ethereum also. Here's your 5-minute chart for Ethereum. And Ethereum's more explosive than Bitcoin when it does move. You know, one thing we have not seen is the ETH to BTC chart, right? ETH, Ethereum dominance versus Bitcoin. How is it looking? We haven't checked on this for a while. We have not checked on this for a while. And it still hasn't even moved. So, and that's a big wedge. So once you get that moving, let's go to the weekly. If this starts to break out, Ethereum might go to all-time highs before Bitcoin does. I don't know. Because typically Bitcoin does get to all-time highs before Ethereum. We'll see. But it is pushing up. And that's a big move for Ethereum, separate from Bitcoin, even though the ETH to BTC chart didn't move much. So there's a lot of juice in Ethereum. I think the volume the other day was 14 billion for the day. That's insane volume. That is absolutely insane volume. 14 billion in the day. And looks like Chainlink is struggling here. What is this? Link to ETH? Struggling a little bit. Link to ETH. Maybe we'll get a follow through. Link to BTC. Struggling to get over this level. Once you're over here, once you get over here, nobody's going to want to own Chainlink because it's going to move so quick. I missed it, is what they're going to say, right? And as we've said before, XRP not moving. My thesis is it never gets back to all-time highs. You need some FUD. I don't think you get back to all-time highs, unfortunately, for the XRP. Okay. What else? Any questions? No real big macro today other than the same thing, which is inflation is still, dripping lower. The cycle is very bullish. We're in a very bullish cycle at the moment. Why? Because the interest rate cycle is starting to be supportive for the market. The interest rates are done going up. We should have support from here for risk assets. We're speaking of risk assets. And the real question is, does inflation continue? Does it bounce here and make new highs? Inflation is in green. If it does, then these rates are just going to stay where they're at. I just don't see that really happening. I think we're going to get the slower data here in March. But I think we had some weak data earlier because remember, our retail sales are our momentum gauge on the economy. If the US economy is 70% consumers and retail sales, what was this? Retail sales, not this month, but the previous month, beat expectations. And then this month they missed expectations. So the momentum's all over the place, right? So slow buying is probably slowing down more than anything. It's still steady, but it is slowing down. So inflation might just be sideways, then rates are sideways. Then once it rolls over, then interest rates come down. Risk assets catch another bid, or at least build a nice base for risk assets. And then we move to liquidity, which really moves the crypto market. This is a Fed net liquidity. Well, green is Fed net liquidity, Federal Reserve liquidity or credit that they're pouring back into the system. If banks are slow or banks are having issues, they're going to inject more liquidity here. Global liquidity, you're taking into account the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, the Bank of China, obviously the Fed, and then who else is it? The ECB and the Bank of England. Okay, yeah, European Central Bank and the Bank of England. So those are all the central banks here. Here's their liquidity. Well, once that cycle starts to move up again, and I believe the ECB did talk about increasing liquidity today or yesterday. I'm not sure when it was. You're going to see that move up. And then as far as the economy, this is all your economy metrics. Forward-looking new orders picking up for the first time in a while. They're starting to go positive. This should actually be a little higher. Did I put the wrong one on here? Anyways, they're moving up. So new orders in the economy moving up. GDP's been pretty sticky. No sign of recession. Very bullish setup for the macro. Very bullish macro setup. Um, yeah, that's what we're staring at. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I'll give you guys a second. If you have any questions, concerns, there's not much out today. Just want to give a little update on those plays, which is AMD. I really like AMD right now, right? For on a technical basis, AMD looks the best. I mean, it can always break down and come back into the trend, but definitely is giving you a clear risk reward here. A lot of buying pressure at the bottom. And I think yeah, it's the second best, chip play. Maybe not like fundamentally the best chips, but for investors, they love AMD. Once it moves, it moves. So you got AMD moving up, a lot of support, clear, clear upside, clear downside. And then Robinhood is not really something you want to chase, but if it does retest, the momentum's there. If it comes back to retest, Nvidia just invested in ARM. Really? Okay. Well, check out ARM. And then coin, same thing. Maybe a little pullback in coin. It is starting to break that previous level though, so it could be you could miss it. Who knows? Consolidation will be nice. Mara, same thing. I mean, they all look similar. I think AMD looks the best for the chips. There's probably some other chips. Let's take a look at the chips real quick. Okay, so here's Nvidia, right? Nvidia consolidates if it pulls back nice. SMCI, don't like it. Qualcomm, let's go to the daily. Or no, we are in the daily chart. Okay. Qualcomm doesn't look I mean, Qualcomm looks good. I don't like the I don't really like the options on this, but I mean, clearly, triangle, ascending triangle, or what's a simpler way to put this? It's like a sideways wedge. It's a flat wedge pattern. You could even call this a cup and handle, right? So this actually looks good. Qualcomm. There's your cup. There's your small handle. Break, retest, boom, right? Stop under here. So that's looking good. WBD. Somebody said WBD. All right, I'll check out WBD. Hold on. WBD and ARM. Intel. Uh, I never liked Intel, but it is climbing higher. Oops. Could be good. WBC. Is that what you said? WBC? Oh, WBD. WBD. What is this? Warner Bros. Why? Oh man, why Warner Bros? I mean, Warner Bros. For a short? Is this for a short? Because this looks like a very juicy short. Looks like a juicy short. The reason I say that is the stock is not in an uptrend. Um, it's in a downtrend. It is in a massive downtrend. I mean, how far does this go back to 2016? This stock basically peaked out. There hasn't been any demand since 2013. You had this burst in 2020, but since the pandemic, right, you've had nothing but a downtrend. So there's a reason why Warner Bros is being sold off. I don't know what it is, but it's making new lows. Right here, there was some support, cracked that support, went lower, tried to consolidate, cracked lower, came back and retested, went lower, came back and retested, try to hold here. Now it's breaking support again. So if anything, this is a nice short, not a long, unless something fundamentally changes on the stock. So I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but I'm just going to give you the raw truth. This looks like trash. Yeah, this looks like trash. I mean, what is the catalyst, right? For what would be the catalyst? You got to have a good catalyst here. And I don't know what Warner Bros. Catalyst would be. My guess is Netflix is eating up all the revenue, YouTube eating up all the revenue, YouTube, Netflix, Apple. I mean, this space is very saturated space. And government is not supporting this. This doesn't really help the U.S. economy to some degree. So there's no incentive to give out to these type of companies. So I would say nah. Somebody also said ARM. Let's check out ARM. I know ARM had that big move. ARM can, I guess ARM can keep moving here. Yeah, ARM looks good. ARM looks good. I mean, I think the real move was here. Once you broke out, pulled back and supported. So today's like that first move. It's a little stretched for an entry. Let me go to the 30-minute. It's a little stretched for an entry in my view. You'd have to catch it on let me see. I don't know how. I don't really watch ARM much, so I don't want to say too much about the price action. But yeah, this gap up was the real entry. You gapped above previous resistance, right? We gapped above it, and then it took off. I don't know what it looked like intraday. Let's see. See if there's an entry at all today. Not really. I mean, not really. Maybe on this pullback, if VWAP was here, I don't have V. Actually, let's see where VWAP's at. Let's put that anchored VWAP from the open. Yeah, there was your entry right there. Pullback supports VWAP, and then it drops VWAP. So this is a tough one also. This is a really tough one. Drop VWAP again, dropped it again. But it is forming a big wedge pattern. Not the best price action. But this is a big wedge. So, I mean, that looks juicy to some people. It's just kind of late in the day already. So, yeah, that's ARM. Looks all right. ASML. Also, let me know why. Why this stock? What is the catalyst here? What is your catalyst? What is your catalyst? This one looks good. This is a big data, right? ASML out of Germany? Is it Germany? Strong. I think it's German. It is above all-time highs. It pulled back, checked, held all-time highs, starting to move up again. ASML, okay. Let's draw down to the daily. It's a big stock. It's strong. It's definitely strong. You got a double bottom here, double bottom. I mean, ASML is just, hey, here's your resistance. Simple as that. But I don't know if you chase this. I don't know what kind of stock it is if you chase it. If it comes down here, great. If it does come down, much better risk reward. Previous resistance has already turned into support. So me personally, I think I might have a little more room to, and it gaps a lot. This thing's dangerous. This thing be gapping. Gaps a lot. So I don't know. We see ASML heavy buyers on WBD wondering why. Oh, inside buyers. Oh, I mean, maybe they know something. I just don't. Maybe they do, but I mean, I wouldn't bet on insider buying. It could always be a tricky reason. If it was in an uptrend, I'd say maybe, but it's in a very nasty downtrend. If you believe in it, yeah. If you believe in it, you believe in it. Dimaj. If you believe in it and you believe, all I'm saying is it's Warner Bros has no catalyst in my view. It doesn't have any fundamental catalyst. There's a lot of stocks out there, and I'm just going to give you my straight up view. It's not innovating. It's not bringing nothing new to the table. It's a bet on entertainment. So maybe they're using AI in some way, but who isn't? So that's why I'm like, but hey, if you know something I don't, if you can find the research, then to justify it, great. But that's just my instincts. AMC, huh? I wouldn't mess with any of these. This space is way too saturated, and AMC is trash. AMC has always been trash. People only liked it because of the technical short squeeze. It doesn't have anything really like just GME and AMC. A lot of people thought it was going to be like crypto. Wait, is this GME? No way. Oh no, that's not GME. They don't have great fundamentals. They don't have no real catalyst. They're not special. They're not a monopoly. Um, GME, AMC, pretty much the same. Nothing special about those. And they can say things all day long, and I mean, people say things all the time about what's going to make the stock go up. This is special, just like PayPal, right? The PayPal guy came out and said, "Well, we're using this. It didn't matter. They gapped down anyway because the space is too saturated already." Good for shorts. Yeah, good for shorts for sure. Could be good for a short. That's just my opinion, man. I mean, maybe I don't know. I just the things that are moving, right? What goes up is going up. Um, Robinhood's going up. You know who looks good also that I think a lot of people are not focusing on is Square. Square looks pretty good. They did good on their earnings. They did gap up right into resistance. I thought that this previous resistance, they got above it and then they sold off. So if it can support this level, could be nice. I don't like that price action though, right off the bat. It should have gapped up in maybe pulled back for one day and then continued. It just did not. So who knows? But I do like Square. It has very clean price action. Once you get above what 85, once you get above 85, maybe there's things in here that I don't know about. Maybe there's some red flags, but once you get above 85, I mean, that'll be a nice breakout. But it looks a lot like ARK Invest. It looks a lot like ARK. You can see ARK holds a lot of these companies and they all look the same. Look at that price action right there. ARK, Square, Zoom. Look at this. Same thing. Zoom. They all look very similar because everybody's piling into them. So you have to know what the catalyst is. Although Zoom, I still like Zoom. I'm not invested in it. I kind of want to. We'll see what the earnings look like. But Zoom has a nice range. I think Zoom has an edge. Who's competing with Zoom? Not many others. Microsoft. So it doesn't have too much competition. Zoom, Twilio, same thing. They all look so similar. So you really need once ARK starts to move, that's going to be your catalyst. I don't even know if you guys can see this on TikTok. The screen's not wide enough. But yeah, once ARK starts to break out, I think a lot of these will start moving. A lot of the ARK stocks. Robinhood's already moving. Coinbase is already moving, which I think is actually lifting up. Coinbase is the biggest holding, I believe, for Kathy Wood. So I think that's what's holding things up at the moment. Pelosi just bought some Pan W. What is Pan W? What is Palo Alto? Oh, okay. So that had a bad earnings report and it shot up. Okay, I did not see that. We did chart this last week. Palo Alto. This is cybersecurity. So again, I don't know what the earnings were. Sometimes the earnings there's just a nasty reaction, but it doesn't really change the future. Maybe this is one of those cases, right? Are these shorts covering or are these real buyers? I don't know. I don't keep up with the stock, so I don't really know. But I don't see anything constructive yet. It did get above this level, so it kind of already moved. But yeah, I didn't know Nancy Pelosi did that. Should short something with 600 market cap, not with 20 billion. It's not random. Okay. ATT. Yeah, and Demaj, the reason I say that is because just because there's insider buying, like if you looked at all the stocks with insider buying, it could be a trade. I don't know, it could be a trade, but trades are tough. I don't know if it's a hold. Maybe they pay a good dividend. But they're not going to give you the type of growth that crypto does. The cycle in right now, you're going to get the most growth from semiconductors, chips, artificial intelligence, Palantir, um, AMD, uh, Chainlink, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the blue chips, right? So there's good opportunities out there. Or I think there's better opportunities out there. But again, if you know something that other people don't know, then go with your instincts. AT&T cyber attack. Okay. Hmm. Well, yeah, that's about it. I still, you see, I think I'm just gonna leave it with this. If AMD holds this level and continues, I think AMD looks the best to me from the stocks I'm looking at. There's 3,000 stocks out there. There's a lot out there. But AMD looks really good, especially if it gets above that. And then when it comes to crypto, Bitcoin moved, Ethereum starting to move, or Ethereum moved, Bitcoin starting to move again, breaking out. And then I like where Chainlink's at, holding that previous level. Aave, Chainlink, Aave a little bit. Where's Chainlink at? Chainlink right there. I mean, that's beautiful price action. That's literally what AMD looks like, but it got above, held the level. Nice capitulation there, starting to move up. And it has real fundamentals, so I can speak to these. I'm only going to speak about what I understand, what I know. Palantir. Yeah, let's do Palantir really quick. Palantir is a great one, fundamental wise. It is up a lot. It did have that great earnings report. The trends are never that pretty, but I mean, it's probably the best pure AI play. We're not talking LLMs. We're talking pure AI for government and for B2B now, business to business. So I do like Palantir. Where's that next support? Somewhere around what, 21? If it does come down to 21, possibly. Let's see on those last earnings report. Did it ever come back? No, it didn't. It did not. Okay, well, hey, I'm done. I'm out of here. When we get some better macro, we'll talk about the macro. But this is a very strong bull market. Look for that pullback. S&P. Let's go to that S&P really quick. Just so you can see overall market, right? We're still in this uptrend. Very clear. We're into an up. We're still in this uptrend. So you have a couple of scenarios here. Couple scenarios. We're consolidating. We make one more move up, or we pull back into the trend. Okay, you either catch something on the way up, or you wait for this pullback. This is a lot better. This is way more constructive if we get a pullback and we move higher. I like right now Tesla and AMD. I wouldn't even doubt if Tesla gaps up tomorrow. Oh, if it needs to finish above VWAP, if it gaps up tomorrow, I think it runs and fills this gap up here. So we'll see. Either way, yeah, good luck to you guys. Thanks for checking out the content. Sign up to the newsletter. It's free newsletter. Building our own website, got our own content on there. So check it out and like and subscribe. Either way, you guys have a blessed day. Work out, eat better. Hey, improve yourself. Learn something new every day. There's so much information out there. Don't get fooled. Learn, get better, and stay blessed. Appreciate you guys.